this is Judy with JLBCrafts. Welcome. If you're new to my channel, thank you for giving me a try. If you're returning, I'm glad you're back. Today, we're going to plan in my dashboard planner, one of my favorite kinds of Halloween spreads. We're going to do a blackout spread. So there's actually a whole subsection of folks that do nothing but black paper spreads using gel pens. I love dabbling in that, especially during the month of October. So what we're going to do is I have this scrapbook paper pad called the Green Witch from Michaels from this year, so you should still be able to find this. And I pulled this sheet of paper out of the pad. And what we're going to do, so last week I did a watercolor in my planner. I used sticker paper on this side so it didn't go through, but on this side I just went ahead and painted right on the page because I knew I was going to do a blackout spread this week. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is, you can see where it bled through last week from my watercolor. So I'm going to cut this page down to the same size as my planner page. And I want to use this corner so that I can put boxes in here. So I'm going to get out my paper trimmer and just go ahead and get this sheet cut down. Definitely save these scraps. We may end up using them later. So I don't want to lose the moon at the top, but I definitely want to keep the hand at the bottom. So what I'm thinking I might do is go ahead and just take a pair of scissors, cut out around the edges of the moon. They call that fussy cutting. There, we just barely cleared it. And tape that on to the page up here. I think I may end up going ahead and doing that. For the other side of the page, we're going to use plain black paper. This is the initial paper pad I got. I got this off of Amazon, and it works fine. The problem is, and this is definitely something you're going to want to note if you order or buy a pad of black paper. The core, the very center of these pieces of paper is actually white. So anytime you cut this, you get a white edge. Now I've gotten around that by using a Sharpie along the edge, but it's just one more step that I have to do. This paper pad is a Pen and Gear, you know, or maybe you don't know, that is Walmart's brand. And I found this just a couple months ago in the back to school section. And when I cut this paper, it's black all the way through. So one less step. So we're going to go ahead and just rip a page out of the back of this, cut it down to size for the right hand side. I'm just going to go ahead, since it has rounded corners and I don't want rounded corners, I'm going to go ahead and just cut a tiny little bit off the top and bottom to get away from that. Okay, and as you can see there, the edge is not white, so no extra steps there. So we'll go ahead and put my paper trimmer out of the way. Sorry about all the banging there, and let's go ahead and punch these. Make sure I'm punching the right side, yep. Okay, and I've used this punch before. I have this one that always sticks, and one of my subscribers, Lena Bryce, I think that's how you pronounce her name, recommended putting Post-it notes on the back of the page if especially if you're trying to punch through washi or stickers, something sticky, and that will help you get through without the stick. Mine has stuck since the day I bought it, so I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on there. Maybe there's something, a screw that's a little too tight or something. So let's go ahead and just take a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this moon out real quick, just near the edge. Because like I said, I really want to include this on the page. Some leftover sticker from a different spread. Okay. Since this is from the same page, the blacks are going to match exactly, so I don't have to be super exact on this. Oops. Okay, there we go. So now I can just kind of glue this, stick this right on here. I like it. Okay, so get my tape runner, and I like to do this on a sheet of wax paper so I don't have to worry about going off the edge. I do want to get all the way to the points on this to make sure it sticks down properly. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So there's the left-hand side of our page. Now, what are we going to do for the right-hand side? We need to get that grid put back on there. So one of the things I like to use, and I can link this in the description box below, this is actually a nail polish tool. It's called a dotting tool, and it's just got these little round ends. You could use all kinds of things for this. You could use a crochet hook or a knitting needle, anything with a rounded tip. You could even use a ballpoint pen, although that's going to leave dots on your paper. I'm going to go ahead and grab, this is going to make little dents in my piece of paper, so I'm going to go ahead and grab a different, because I'm going to use probably the back side of this next week. So I want to find one that I don't plan on using anytime soon, if at all. So I've just got my spare pages out, and I'm just going to grab a random page. This is a wrong page. Their colors are just so bright, I don't find myself using them very often. And I'm going to line this up, and I'm going to make little tiny dots where my grid would go. So this just takes some pressure. And I'm going to use these little dots and a white gel pen to draw the grid in. A few extra dots just to help me for lining things up. Okay, so put that aside. Now I'm going to grab my white Signo gel pen and a ruler, and we're going to go ahead and just connect these dots. Light pressure, again, helps the ink flow a little bit better and you get better lines. Okay. And try to lift your ruler on there. You see I did not do that so that we don't get the smearing. Make sure this is dry. You can see I went a little outside the line there. Usually you can just kind of scrape that off. And if that fails, you can actually use, do the opposite of what you would do on white paper, use a black Sharpie to kind of darken that back up. Just giving that a little bit of extra time to dry. And we'll go ahead and finish drawing in our lines. Again, try to lift your ruler straight up, just wiping the edge a little bit. Just because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, I guess, when it comes to some of this stuff. All right. Okay, there we go. So we have now our grid, and I will clean this up later. But you can see it wipes up pretty easily. Okay, so I want to grab a couple of these scraps and just show you the gel pens I've picked out. Since this is the month of Halloween, I've picked out Halloween colors. So I've got a lime jelly roll, and the thing that I've discovered about jelly rolls, I've got orange, is they get lighter as they dry. Obviously we've seen white. I've got the purple. Now this one we're going to come back to because I'm going to draw this and you're probably not even going to be able to see it. I can barely see it. But it's going to lighten up. We'll give that a few minutes and it's going to lighten up. And then I have this lilac. It's kind of a soft purple color. And we're going to come back to this. These are going to get a little bit lighter. Okay, so next thing we need to do when you do a spread like this, you need to put in your days and dates. So I've pulled a couple different books that I know have days and dates in them. These are the days and dates we need to replace. And I wanted to keep everything as black and white so that the colored gel pen, when I do my after the pen, really is bright. So I'm going to use these. Oops. This is the Brights sticker book. And I'm going to use these, the black and white ones. And I've already cut these down. They're a little bit wide, so I just went ahead and cut the excess off. And actually, before I get to that, I'm just going to go ahead and recreate this look. So I got this at Joann's. This is a Kissy Ann Designs, and it's got all kinds of days and dates in it. And I looked through here and I want to use this page. So I need to start with 12 and go from there. So 12, 13. We'll just grab a bunch, load up all the fingers. I like the way these look on here. I like that they're not just square. They actually took and went ahead and cut around the numbers. Okay, and now we'll go ahead and put in our days. Oops, there's a little piece that I cut off. All right. Pull these off in order so that I don't get them in the wrong order when I stick them down. You'd be surprised how easy that is to do. The blacks do look a little different on the page, but I'm not too worried about that. Okay, that's all I needed out of that book, I believe. So there we've done a pretty fair recreation. I can look for a 2020 if I want, but I'm not too worried about that. So this is what we have so far. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I always put my Instagram stories here, and I have some stickers that I made that I use, but obviously this isn't going to show up black on black. So I wanted to find a little piece of some sort of something light to stick on there, and I found in this Wild Styled book this washi sticker strip. I know it's not white, but I think it's light enough that it's going to look just fine. So we're going to go ahead, and normally on this layout you can see the space is actually below this line, but I'm going to go ahead, I think, and just go ahead and stick it right up here, basically on top of the line, just to give myself a little more space when I try to fit in my Monday through Sunday. And what I do is track what I post in my Instagram stories. I try to be disciplined enough to post every day of the week, and this way I can see. So we'll go ahead and stick this on there. Just kind of center it. Oh, luckily it landed exactly right. Okay, I might go back and trim that little edge just a bit since it shows up. Okay, let's get these out of the way for now then. Now, I still need my grid here. So what I'm going to use for that, I'm going to stick with the white, but I'm actually going to switch to a white jelly roll pen. The ink doesn't flow quite as freely out of this pen, so these lines are going to be a little less pronounced. I'm just going to try to fit 5 on each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to draw these in, and I'm only going to draw in, since this line isn't long enough, I'm only going to draw in the dots, and then I'll come back with a ruler and draw in the lines. So I'm going to work on that real quick, and I will be right back. So you can see where I have a couple little spots and dots from my pen. So just an eraser, any kind of eraser, will clean those right off. So you can go through afterwards and clean your page. So you can see those are going. And it's not taking me very much pressure. Those are just cleaning right off. Okay, so the next thing I need is I want to put a couple big boxes over here. So I pulled sticker books that have some black boxes in them. This is the functional box from the Black and White Be Happy box, and it's definitely got a lot of black boxes in it. I definitely want this one. But I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to actually turn it vertically to stick it on my page. And then I want at least one more. And I found, doing another spread in this fall box, I found a black and white double box sticker that I definitely want to go ahead and use. There we go. It's got a little bit of gold foil, but I don't have any gold foil on here so far, so I think that will add just a little bit. So if we put, it's really hard to see my black page on my dark desk, but if we put this one, well, let's go ahead and look here. Let's put this one up here at about the same height as the Instagram story banner. So let's line these up. And I am keeping it kind of close so that I have more room for this next box. And we'll just kind of stagger it a little bit. Come down here with it. All right. And I want to see if I can find some sort of little to-do or remember. There's a black and gold remember. That'll bring a little more gold in. All right, and then I think I want to try to find a quote to fit in here. And I'm looking, black and white of course, and I'm looking back in the Wild Style book, actually the same page where I pulled this banner, and it says if your dreams don't scare you, then they're not big enough. And I like that, and I like the look of this, mostly white, because it kind of ties in with these. So we're just going to put this right down here. And I think that's going to do it for this side. I like that. Okay, the other thing I like to put in my social media spread is a box here for my stats. So I track Instagram followers and YouTube followers. And I had to break out my next copy of my original colorful boxes to get to some black, and we're just going to go ahead and add these. Oops. And I always start with Wednesday because it's the longest word day, and that sets my alignment for the rest of the column. And I don't like the placement of that one. So I have my palette knife out. I will have a link to this in the description box below, but it's definitely my favorite tool for lifting and repositioning stickers. It just sneaks right under the edge. Okay. Finally, I'd like to try to find some kind of weekend banner or weekend sticker, and I pulled one of my Stargazer books. I happened to grab the mini because I know it's got extra skinny weekend banners in it. So there's a couple. They will bring in a little bit of color if I use these, but pretty minor. Keep on Dreamin' Girl. That's Focus on Yourself. I think Keep on Dreaming. Like I said, it does bring in just a tiny bit of pink. I'm not sure you're even going to be able to tell. And I am going to bring in more color when I write with the gel pens. So I think I want to put this right down here, kind of center it. Oh yeah, that looks nice. Okay, so another option that I could consider would be to take pieces of this scrap piece that we cut off and cut them out and put them on the page somewhere to kind of tie the two pages together. But they're such big graphics, I'm not sure I could do a good job cutting them out. I could try to cut out this mushroom cluster or a couple of these mushrooms and stick on the edge here, but they're just so big. And I think this actually looks pretty well tied together anyway. The last thing I pulled out was a couple of loose leaf Happy Planner pages that I don't know if you can tell or not, but these actually have white stickers. And I thought they might look neat on the black. But I really, now that I'm looking at it with the spread, I'm really not liking the different artistic styles. I don't think I want to combine them. So actually, I think I'm going to let the colored gel pen speak for itself and call this spread complete. This is what the pens look like now that they've had a chance to dry a little bit. You can see the purple, the darker purple, much better. Let's go ahead and put this, so what are we going to do now? We need to attach this page to this page. I'm not going to worry about this side because I don't know what I'm going to do for this page yet, and I don't want to glue them together if I end up using something different here. So I'm going to just put these on the discs loosely, not attached, and we'll figure that out next week. For this other side, I'm going to grab my wax paper one more time and my glue runner, my tape runner, sorry, and we're just going to go all the way around the edge. So this is the page that I watercolored on that we're going to cover up so you won't even know. And we'll stick a little down the middle. And then we're just going to line this one up. There we go. All right. And if you get a little bit of the excess glue tape runner stuck to the edge, it just wipes right off. So this spread is really going to come to life after the pen. So keep an eye on my Instagram feed where you can see I plan to just pick a color each day and write. And it's going to look, trust me, I've done these spreads before, it's going to look absolutely amazing. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, I hope you'll consider liking and subscribing. That encourages me to continue making more videos, really gets me excited and helps with the creative process. Thank you!